El micrófono.
Un aplauso.
Another round of applause for the directors. Well, I think there's a lot of food for thought. We have the voladores de papanta, which is amazing. Moisés Zamora con la inteligencia artificial. Y Juan Manuel Paradiso. Es un bad hombre, ya rompió la silla. No, ahorita te conozco. Lynette Coll. Y nuestra moderadora, Vange Tapia. Well, I have you have your questions ready, but I think we're going to start with a conversation that Vange is going to start. But I'm sure there is a lot of good questions for these creators and directors and a lot of the talent here. Thank you, Vange, for being here this afternoon.
Muchas gracias. Thank you, everybody, for coming on Friday to join us. And thank you, the Mexican Consulate, for opening your doors once again, for our Consul General of Cultural Affairs, and your amazing team, Lucia and Aitza. And well, she already did it, so we're just doing her little setup here. But anyway, thank you everybody so much. Please make sure your cell phones are silent, and but not off. Please do take pictures and share it, and post them on social media. The CCCM, the Consulate, the Cultural Center of Cinematic Arts, it's CCCMLA _, and actor/ is actors is plural. And if you go to the social media, you will have all of them already tagged. And just like our Consul of Cultural Affairs, my name is Vange Tapia. I'm the founder of actor/, and it's a collective in a community of actors who create opportunities. I call them the slashers, the multi-slash. And we are going to start. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I am very, very excited to present this panel today. You guys are going to be sharing that mic. One for you, one for all. Just like Consul Aida mentioned, I just love when Sara sent me her different versions. It's the second time she's here, and it got my attention that you've been directing kids, which is where you do an amazing job. But I love this one because of the Papantla flyers that is showcasing and introducing our culture, our Mexican culture, to our visitors here and whoever has the opportunity to see it. And in the Guillermo, I just so love your short film so much because it just talks a lot about diversity, even though it's from 2022, I believe, or 23.
Yes.
During the pandemic, because we can see our friend Ben Lopez there, a very dear friend who's so wise, that man.
He is. He's not dead yet. So.
He's no longer in Nali as the executive director. Now we have Ana Luna, but he's still around with everything that he does, and he's so good with the statistics, and he's just very right about what he said, that we were here first, not only Mexicans, but like the Latino culture, right? And then why are we going to allow someone else to write our stories, the stories for us? And I absolutely love what Guillermo said in your short film and what Ben said. So I would like to know that with everything that is happening right now, when, that confusion that still exists, that, I'm sorry, but we have a Boricua here from Puerto Rico, and we have Argentinian, and then 3 Mexicans, but because they call us Latinos, we have to be the same. We're absolutely not. We are from different countries. We're warm, we're friendly. We're like tamales. We're coming from different colors and different flavors and different traditions.
Well, according to Fox News, there are 5 different Mexican countries, so.
Exactly. I mean, gosh. So, and then on top of that, I mean, it's like a hunting us for some reason, instead of taking advantage that Latinos represent over 20% of the population and the income and the people who goes to the movies and everything, right? So I want to know, how are you guys are putting up and fighting and continuing with we're not letting being stopped with all this uncertainty and all this bad reputation that some people insist about us. Let's start with you, Guillermo.
Shit.
He warned us that he loves swearing.
I curse a lot. I'm sorry in advance.
Okay, just bring the mic and
hopefully this beeps itself, so.
I think it's
No.
off. But maybe it's
do
off.
you hear? Do we need it? Oh, I'm sorry, I too dumb to use the mic.
Better?
Yeah.
Well. It's like the voice of God. Well, like, to be honest, what we can do is just keep doing what we can and doing the best and fuck what the other people said. Like, we have to stay true to our stories. And precisely now it's more important to tell our stories and use probably our art and our voices against that. Like that documentary started because a teacher was very stupid, say something racist, and I do want to believe that people are not evil by nature. They might be just stupid and ignorant. In this case, I thought like this faculty, they knew what he was talking, and he didn't mean to be racist or have like the biases, but ignorance is the roots of all evil. So we have to fight that with our art, and if they keep doing that again, we have to keep doing our art, and if it becomes too extreme, we just have to punch them.
I just hope to agree with you, ignorance, because sometimes they don't have any malice. They just do it without even noticing. It's like the person that cuts up in front of you in the car. You want to honk them. I tell my husband, they need to know that they're stupid. So honk at them. Like this teacher, for whoever didn't see, is the one that told you, you are not a bad hombre, you are a good hombre, right?
I'm one of the good ones. So
you're one of the good hombres.
What the fuck does that mean? That my family, all my friends are rapists, delinquents, and I am the fucking exception?
Yeah.
Like, do you hear yourself?
Yeah. Have you?
He might not be a good one after this one.
And also, if I definitely am not the good one. I'm the.
He's the criminal.
Yeah.
You're the black sheep of the family.
I'm the black sheep. I'm the one that is on the statistics that is too aggressive and angry. That's me.
No, I absolutely agree. That's why, even though your documentary is 3 years old, it's still pretty accurate.
Well, yeah, I think it's more relevant now because the original idea started on the first Trump administration. But because films take forever to get made, I got the funding after he was out and said, yes! And again, you know.
And it's very important to clarify that you got the funding through your school, USC. And you have to compete. Like many other students try to also get the funding, but you got it because what you presented. And they gave you the opportunity because someone believed in you and someone believed that this information is to be put out there to counteract what is being told, which is wrong.
Yeah, I also got rejected before that, like many times on grants and everything. And even at USC, I applied 3 times before I got to the grant. So I think they just pity myself. They pity me because they, oh, poor fucker, like just give him something after.
Third time, gosh.
Yeah, no, I think at the time for the last speech, they already knew me because the faculty, I met them through different classes, and so finally they said, well, this guy is crazy, but maybe he can do it. They thought I was bullshitting with all the big names, and I was, but I was able to to get them. But when I pitched them, I didn't have any clue how I was going to do it, and they knew I was bullshitting, but I delivered. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Definitely. And Sara, I love that, like, through all the films and all the projects that you've been, that I've seen from you, your writing really changes the narrative. You have shown the good and the bad. But I mean, it's on your pen or in your keyboard to tell a different story, and I love that. Something that irritates me, I mean, I'm married to an amazing American, but something that I don't like in the country is the misuse of words like white. I'm sorry, but what is white? I mean, we have a lot of white people here right now, but only because you weren't born in the US, now you're not white. Like, right? Like, seriously? And we have to learn how to use words correctly. White is white, brown is brown, black is black, red is red. How do you find that inspiration, and how, as a woman, because now you have it even harder as a woman, to like be heard? Like right now you're producing a whole film festival, which is La Live, which is huge, it's a big deal. And how you get people in men or whoever to listen to you and to follow your lead.
That's a compound question, I guess. The inspiration part with the Voladores de Papantla, I mean, it's just so easy. You see them in Mexico often. There's a lot of cultural events and cultural places that have these rituals performed for non-indigenous people, and I don't know how you could watch that and not be inspired. I cannot imagine a version when you're not. I just had the luxury that my mom worked for the Museo de Arte Popular, and so that gave me an introduction to meet some of the Voladores de Papantla, and I worked with them for many years, because I think that when you're going into a space as a guest and going into the Totonaca community, I am a guest. I needed to earn their trust and be invited and be welcomed. I thought that was the only ethical way to make a movie with them. I didn't want it to be like I had seen many beautiful documentaries, but it's always from a very documentary perspective. I'm not a documentarian, so I brought the idea to them of, it's basically a reenactment, that it is the true story of Hector, the boy that played that story. Obviously, everybody in the movie is from the Totonaca community. There's no actors in there. And it was difficult in the sense that they have done many documentaries, and I don't think they were understanding the little switch that this was a little bit of fiction. Yeah, a little bit of fiction. So when I would tell them, like, we're gonna do this, like, they're like, oh, it's not an interview. And I'm like, no, we're just pretending the cameras are not here. And it was a wonderful experience. We did it in 3 days. We lived in the jungle with them. It was beautiful because you're in the jungle. That El Palo, where they fly, the post.
The post.
Yeah, the first one we see is the metal one, which is, I think, more common. It's the ones we have in the cities. But the one we see at the end, the wooden one where the children fly, it's a actual tree with the roots still in the ground, so they pick it. There's a big ritual. Someone very high up in like spiritually high up that has been a chaman for a long time picks it. They decide if the tree is strong enough, straight enough. Then there's a ritual. They cut those smaller trees around it, and then they wrap those roots around it to make like the ladder to be able to go up. That's not something many people get to witness. You have to hike to the top of that part of the jungle to arrive to that tree. And it's just so special to be able to be part of that. And then to see a more like genuine version of the ritual, which is usually with those trees, and have the opportunity to capture that. And then when they saw the finished product, they were so happy. And I hate watching my own work. I shot this, we finished this 10 years ago, so it was very weird. I hadn't watched it since I approved the lock cut. But the only reason I don't hate this project like I do most of my projects is because they loved it. The final shot, which I hate a little bit, but the final shot.
Wait, the aerial one?
Yeah, the aerial one.
It's amazing.
It shouldn't be turning. The drone was turning too much. It flew too high. The edges were moving. But that shot, they were like, this ritual is to connect the gods with the humans, with the inframundo. And they're like, that's how the gods see us. Thank you. We had never seen it like that. And that was just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely love it, and I just even showed it to my husband, like, but he's seen them. We've seen them in Puerto Vallarta. I wonder if you can see them here in Los Angeles when they, you can
Yeah,
find
they've
them.
been here.
Because Victor was, someone was looking for one, no, it was another friend. With Enrique, I think, he was trying to find one. Moy and Juan, I don't really want to talk about artificial intelligence just now. I want to talk about your previous writing, and because you are a producer, a writer, director, and you really are in charge of what is exactly what I want to talk about. You do have that power, and they listen to you. They do. What are the walls that you have to overcome to land all those amazing projects? I mean, even Selena, there's already like 3 or 4 or 5 versions of Selena, and that was shot during the pandemic. And then when I met you, you were what was the name of that show?
American Crime.
American Crime, and I missed that, but I kind of like know some of the actors. They have to learn how to speak Nahuatl to perform the roles.
And thank you for reminding me about that. Thank you about that. That specific scene, it was my first TV writing job for John Ridley on American Crime. Not American Crime Story. This is the Regina King anthology that was on ABC, 3 seasons. That was my first TV writing job. I broke into television because of the stories that I was running away from. I grew up in Central California, agricultural community, conservative. My dad worked for a clinic, and one, I didn't want to be in that conservative community with lots of churches. 2, I experienced the most racism in that community. And 3, I didn't want to be a doctor. But all of those things were essential into convincing the showrunner that I was the right writer to tell those stories. So that taught me a big lesson, never to run away from your roots. So embrace them, tell them who you are, and it'll open up opportunities. And they were doing the 3rd season of American Crime was about human trafficking and the exploitation of, and a lot of actual work comes from that experience, my own work, and how field laborers, agricultural workers are severely exploited, tortured, near slavery. And a lot of the stories that my dad, because he worked for the federal clinic, that dealing with the women, the injuries, were all these field workers. So a lot of his stories literally ended up on the screen. And one particular, and this is to John Reilly being just an incredible visionary and a person that I admire completely because he knew what he wanted. Obviously had an Oscar already, so he could get away with anything. But he had he'd hired everyone. We would spend 4 hours during the day to pitch for the show, and we'd go home. Because he wanted to pick up his kids from school. And so he one of the things that really was engraved in my mind was, I hired you because I believe in your talent and the stories you were going to share. So those stories ended up on the board. Those stories ended up on the outline. We had like 2 drafts of an outline. Those stories ended up on the script, 3 drafts of the script, and the 3rd draft is what we produced.
That's not bad.
And when he did his showrunner pass, just arranged some things, cleaned up some stuff. So he left a lot of scenes intact. And when I had my first TV writing credit, as a co-write credit, we were able to cover set. My first scene ever covering set and producing television was with the great Regina King. And she's crying because she has to cry for the scene. I'm crying because, holy fuck. But everyone was smiling. And that's when I understood because Regina King was so incredible, we were going to go home early. And she delivered 2 takes. But that particular scene, we had to be very authentic to a lot of the communities that work in the fields, Zapotec, Mixtec, some of the communities' first language is not Spanish nor English. And so that's why it was very important to showcase that reality. And I believe, and maybe you can check with ChatGPT if it's true, but I do believe we made history by including the first scene and character speaking novels in broadcast television in America.
That's probably true.
And I know this too. Hansel Ramirez
Yeah.
and Nitzia Chama, and they of course when they auditioned they were like, yeah, of course I speak the language. And
They
immediately,
did not speak
No,
and
language.
immediately they went and practiced
I know how to
and
laugh.
learned and everything because they didn't, and they delivered as well. So
Yeah, we were really proud of that scene because it took, and this is again a testament to the executive producers and everyone that's involved. It makes a huge difference which the team is diverse. A lot of the opportunities that I have been given have come from Black creators, queer creators, people that from diverse backgrounds. So it's almost like diversity will happen naturally if you hire someone. Like they don't even have to fill quotas, it just happens.
Yeah.
And you create incredible product.
yeah.
American Crime, I think got nominated for a bunch of Emmys, you know? I don't even know why it was on broadcast. It was really it's a premium show, it didn't have an indie, it's like an open-ended indie. And so I think that's to the testament of diversity. And speaking of words, I think you have to be very careful about the words, right? For example, I think that even the mention red for Native and Indigenous communities, I don't think that's a word that they embrace anymore or ever. But one of the things that is really important is to be authentic, like you said, and to you, just speak to the communities themselves, see how they want to represent it, and as an artist, do your best job into putting those stories, if you can, because you'll get a bunch of executives to be like, no, you're not putting those people on, we're not doing a scene on Nahuatl, on broadcast, ABC, Sunday night. But because John really had that power, they never questioned him. So that means, thank you for complimenting on my power, but I don't have that power. I don't have that John Reilly power. You have to have an Oscar, I think. So we'll go get some.
You must have done something right. I mean,
So I think it takes someone like that to open those doors and make those, because otherwise they won't let you. It's just too much. It's too controversial.
but it's just like, for instance, in Coco, when the director or producer, he was just saying, Coco is Mexican, right? And we're talking about that culture, and then instead of saying, I went on God and surrendered myself and God, some people from Mexico to tell me about that. He's like, I went and got some Latinos. That I disagree. You have to be very specific. You don't get, it's like if you look on the internet, where's the poinsettia coming from? Did you guys know that poinsettia is a gift from Mexico to the world? It's a Nochebuena, and it was named after the first ambassador in Mexico, American ambassador. He took it, brought it to the US, and named it after his last name. And then if you Google it, it says somewhere in Latin America. Sorry, you have to be very specific. Latin America is not Mexico, and Mexico is not necessarily only Latin America.
Even in Mexico, you have to be very
specific. Yeah. So anyway, I really, really appreciate what, what you just said. Yeah, maybe you said you don't have the power, but I do believe, because right now you're about to also direct a horror film, and we are going to go back into the next part in a moment. But yeah, you are an influential person. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Where's my money?
Yeah.
Where's my overall deal?
Tequilas. Quesadillas o unos.
No, money is important only if it's used wisely.
Yeah.
Same with AI.
Juanma. Okay, I want to tell you about Juan Manuel. He just recently arrived, not even a year, right? It hasn't been a year.
Year and a half.
A year and a half, okay. His brother and Juan Manuel are known as the fathers of YouTube in Argentina, according to the emails the messages and the crazy comments of his audience. That maybe there are others, but
one of the first.
One of the first, I'm sure. But I mean, they remember you well.
I don't know why. If from Uruguay, yes.
Oh, my bad.
But living here in Miami all the time.
The Uruguayan YouTuber or what?
Yeah. It's one of the biggest YouTubers on the
Okay, but Uruguay is Uruguay. I'm talking about Argentina.
Okay.
You see, there are different countries. There are different countries. They speak similar, but they're different countries.
Yes, exactly.
I want to know, how are you doing in the U.S.? Are you creating something here? Are you still with your with your projects from Argentina, or how you feel in this part of the pond?
Okay. For the first time, my dream was Hollywood. The movies here, the big screen, the big explosions. I love the 80s. When the cars explodes and the guy have a big muscles and the big knife. The 80s. Okay. And I really love this part of the Hollywood culture, and I try to create videos in Argentina from action videos. I'm doing stunts too. I'm burn myself and jump on the second floor through the glasses.
And you will videotape yourself and
Yes.
share that.
Yes. Only the jump, no the rest,
The fire.
no the pain. Yes. And I try to create a different video with my best friend in Argentina. He's Metal Warrior, or Matia, but it's Metal Warrior. If I say the name, he's
People will know who he is.
yes. We're working with my friend for, I don't know, since 2012 or something like that. I started in 2009 with in YouTube with a parody, and the humorous parody of the TV show of the 90s. Natalia, yes. It's me with a wig. It's just me with a wig, with the beard.
So you're recreating an old character and
Yes.
bringing it to life.
Because the
portrayed by you.
yeah, the original character was a pretty girl, with the opposite of me, and these guys have a TV show from the video games, and you can send a letter, because we don't have emails at this time, asking about the different video games, and these guys travel around the world and show the different video games, and I don't know, it's a big show in Argentina, and we create a parody and start with this, and we stay with this program for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. In 2012 2011, I started with playing with Natalia, Juan con Natalia. It's a gaming channel. This is my biggest gaming channel right now. I have 3 million subscribers on Twitter.
So basically, you play video games, but then you comment.
Yes,
on
I
them.
play video games and comment with the character and with the Argentinian
You
humor.
give life to the character.
Exactly.
While you narrate it.
Yes, and it's not me playing. It's Natalia. No, it's
How many followers do you have?
I
Subscribers?
subscriber 2.5 million, something like that. Yeah, between 2.5 and 3 millions. Between all the social media, you know, I'm talking about both YouTube, but I have TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. You know, if you are an influencer or YouTuber, you need to have all
You
the
know who is
platforms.
Jugando con Natalia.
Yes, Jugando con Natalia. Sí, don't search it. It's not good for kids. It's plain, but it's not for kids. Okay, and we start to create videos from, you know, the action videos like wars or whatever, and always with the dream to Hollywood. And in 2014, I had the opportunity to come to LA for the first time with a brand who tried to understand who the video games work, because trying to, you know, to introduce in the video games and give me the opportunity to, you know, to guide this group. And we're coming for the first time in 2014 to the E3. It's one of the biggest events of video games. And
then fast forwarded, you came last year. Invited.
yes, I started working for the last 10 years in Argentina, making different projects. You know, the video game project, the action project, short films. I don't know, a late night show, all this stuff. And I have the opportunity in 2020 to come here to, you know, with my residents and start working here and try to, you know, follow my dreams here.
Freaking pandemic.
Yes, exactly. And we stayed 2 years in lockdown in Argentina. And in 2022, December 2022, we can know it with my wife, and we start to live in the real life here. Because I travel a lot, but living here it's very different. You're not on vacation, you know.
And now that you're living here, have you encountered any challenges?
The challenges I'm here, you know, a little time. You know, it's a year and a half.
Too short.
It's
Yeah.
too short. Yes. Sorry about my English. I try to do it the best, you know, but it's complicated for me. We are all Latinos. We are in the Mexican Consulate, and we are speaking English. I don't know why. And okay.
We have some English speakers guests, and we want to respect
Who's
them.
the
We're
English
very,
speakers?
Oh my God.
we're very.
You?
Thank
Okay.
you so much. We're very, very pleased that they
Yes,
did come.
thank you
So
very
we want to
much.
So you get to practice your English.
Security. Okay.
We get to practice your English.
Yeah, I'm practicing my English. Do you understand me or no?
It's in your head.
No. Okay.
It's in your head.
It's in your head.
Okay.
She's right. Me, Jane, you, Tarzan, but we're just.
Okay, great. Okay, and well, I don't have, I don't feel problems here. The thing is, it's too short time here for me to stay here, and I don't have the same contacts like in Argentina or Latin America. All my community is from Latin America because
Just like what Guillermo del Toro said.
yes,
His perspective and the way he lived in Guadalajara wasn't exactly what he saw here.
yes.
So yeah, it's totally understandable.
And the people who say speak Spanish here speak but don't understand, you know, maybe the cultural
Castellano.
the Castellano, yes, and the different places of Latin America, because Latin America is not Mexico, like you say. In Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, we have you use a lot of dark humor, you know, and we say a lot of words that's here, it's, wow, it's terrible. And
Well, you wouldn't believe it. I'm gonna give you a piece of bread with the name of Argentinians are gonna freak out, but we have a delicious bread called concha,
la concha, sí.
and we put cajeta on it.
Okay,
And as a present, I might give you Mario right here. He's wearing a cachucha. So there you go, on his head. And it's totally lingo. I agree. We're
And
already
it's
freaked
the
out
same,
some
you know,
people,
it's-
right? You're sure it's the same.
okay. We say dulce de leche, not cajeta.
No,
It's
because
our,
dulce de leche in Argentina is made out of cow milk, And in Mexico, it's made out of goat. And it tastes.
It's milk.
Yeah.
It's dulce de leche. It's not dulce de leche de vaca. It's dulce de leche.
I'm just saying, it's different milk.
Different.
Different
Okay.
animal. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you're practicing your English with
Thank
all
you.
of us. I mean, I've been married with an American for 20 years, and believe me, he doesn't speak any Spanish, he tries. And I have a thick accent in my English, so I don't care. You guys understand, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. It's just me.
Okay.
And this is therapy.
Okay.
And
Great.
this is therapy. So
Group
it's
therapy.
great.
You know?
So, no,
We're
I
sharing
am,
the collective trauma.
yeah. So I'm very happy that you're here.
Thank you very much.
For the followers in Argentina, when you see this, thank you so much for sending this. Nati, ¿eso?
Nata, sí.
Nata, ¿bien?
Pancita.
Sí.
Bueno, cagada por ti, soy bien.
And then to the US, we're very happy to have him. Estamos muy contentos de que lo hayan mandado.
Ahí va.
Lynette, querida,
Dígame.
for me, Lynette is it's another slasher. Remember, slash is multi-slash. She's an actor slash producer slash everything. She's amazing. Ever since I met you, I was like, wow, a truly slasher. Because actor slash started with actors. I want to know about your perspective of what we're talking about, because you also produce, I mean, we saw 2 scenes of your reel as an actor, and then 3 scenes of 3 very important projects as a producer. Tell me about that. How like Pedro Pascal, you were saying that when he wasn't that famous, but I think I remember Pedro Pascal since someone corrected me. I thought it was Narcos, but no, it was Game of Thrones. Like, how do you land all those actors right there? The story into the summer, or what was it? On the summer? The last
In the
movie?
Summers.
In the summers.
Yeah.
It's been in Lali, with Carlos Lopez involved. I mean, all these great projects. What have been the challenges of like really reinforcing our diversity in your stories that you have encountered?
That I have
Like you
encountered, or
having
that
to
I mean, for me,
bring them to life.
yes. Well, the reason why, I mean, you know that I started Luz with Sergio Lira, who's here as my business partner. I've been, I think from inception, I've been a revolutionary and a storyteller. And also, like, if you asked me when I was little what I was going to do in my future, it was like, I wanted to tell stories, like, save the world through stories. That's what I used to tell my mom. I'm like, I think I could be a superhero, you know? And I was joking, but the truth is that since I was very little, I was very conscious when I moved to the States when I was 18, that stories that are really good stories, that win Oscars, that people are proud of, like, they never give us those opportunities to make those kind of movies. We always make, we make stories about, you said people think Mexico, like, we're not all Mexicans, but people think we are all Mexicans. And every story that you pitch had a burrito or a Big Vaporú joke in it. And as a creator, it was painful to me, because I think in your documentary somebody said, can we just make stories about human and like people that look like me? And we can go to the moon, you know, which is Prospect. You got Pedro Pascal in a story in the moon.
In one of them.
Yeah, in the Prospect. And as an actor, when I started, you know, they saw me, I really think accent too, like Sofia Vergara, and they didn't get me. And they were like, so you can only do West Side Story or The Maid or all of these other things. And then I started producing, and then you try to tell stories of ourselves, it's the same thing. And I think I've been fighting my whole life to tell stories that are of our people, but of quality and like not following a stereotype. And I've always followed that as an actor, like the Disney short. It's a Disney short.
The first one.
Yeah. And the character is a mom. And when they came to me, I was like, please don't give me the regular freaking Latina mom, because I'm going to say no. Right. And Disney really wanted me in this short. And then Gabriela Ortega and the writer and everybody else wrote a character. And you saw, I was very different from all of the other characters, because I was playing you didn't know if I was fluid sexually, if I was, you don't know. It's ambiguous. And she has muscles. She fixes cars. So for me as an actor, if I say yes to something, it has to be something very different from what we do. And as a producer and as a development executive, I work with people like David Lynch, Steven Soderbergh, like very amazing visionaries like Guillermo del Toro, but they don't give us those opportunities. Guillermo del Toro did that for us, right? Like he said, it's like you just have to change the story and the narrative and decolonize your mind. So as a producer, you know, and I worked in studios for so long, there was no power of us. Like you said, I have no power, like he had the power to do it. And as an executive, it's very frustrating not being able to greenlight things like that. So I quit my job and started it with Sergio Lira, Luz Films, exactly to do that, to continue creating stories of people that look like us, but that is, you haven't seen us in the moon, you haven't seen us like in the summers, you haven't seen a family, Latino family, depicted in that way. In a very
we do
positive
have a
way.
Latina who already went to.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
no, I see what you.
in the summers, it's a story that it could have been played by anybody, and it's a family story. It's about two sisters that go like visit their father in Las Cruces in a span of 4 summers, and you see them grow. But we don't talk about being Latino, so we're like, you
didn't even
speak
mention
Spanish.
it. You didn't even
No, you
mention
don't.
it.
It's there. It's there. Like he's speaking Spanish, and like you don't have to come out with la pava y la bandera de Puerto Rico, you know, and sing reggaeton, so that we know that we're Puerto Ricans. So it's been like that forever. It's been a challenge to do those things, but I think I've never stopped fighting for myself and for others, and to give opportunities to others. And if we don't do it, no one's going to do it for us. So you know, I produce and I'm like. And I act sometimes in a movie, which is hard as hell, but I love it, you know? And I love telling other people's stories, you know, and collaborate with people, and, you know, that's been my thing forever.
And if you can see yourself, we were, Mario and Pedro the other day, we went to see Viola Davis, and they gave her G20, the movie, with Patricia Rico. You were there as well, yeah. And remember Viola Davis, she said, I will tell stories to my daughter. I remember Mario didn't go. But and she was saying, like, I tell stories to my daughter, and she's like, Mom, put me on this story. And I want to be in the story. And if I can see me in the story, because she couldn't believe they will give her a superhero character. She thought it was for Angelina Jolie. And they're like, why not? You know what? I mean, why taking myself out of the equation? Yeah. If you can really do it. If not, be the producer who do it. Just create it. Someone
be
will
the
see
change
it.
you want to see.
Exactly. Okay, so now let's switch gears into our last and second topic, the very scary word of artificial intelligence for so many. I was one of those. I am not afraid of artificial intelligence. I'm afraid of the people who might misuse it. I really embrace it. I'm open to use it, but I'm just very scared. And just to start with that, we just saw Victor Mares, who is here. He came up with the idea of putting together, he's a voiceover talent and also a director for dubbing artist, and he envisioned to do a documentary and make everybody aware that the dangers of artificial intelligence, when it's not used correctly. I do have a friend who's a lawyer, and her friend was cooking in the kitchen, and she received a phone call. She was cooking, and she could see through the window her 2 daughters on their cell phones playing in the backyard. And the phone call is like, we have your daughter and one around. And she's like, really, what daughter? Because she's seeing them. And the youngest. God knows what she was doing, that on social media they recreated her voice, and she's like, let me hear my daughter. And the daughter's like, Mom, help me. Same voice. So those are kind of the dangers. No, like in a personal level, imagine for someone who lives, we're actors. How many actors do we have here in voiceover talent? We have a lot. And we live for this. We are scared that we will be replaced by technology. So you guys have brought something very interesting, some proposals on how to do it in an ethical way. So let's start with you, Moise. Please tell us about your new startup, because it's.
Okay,
I
we'll
wanna
give you a
know
little
how
more
you do it.
context.
Yeah.
I'm an artist, I'm a writer, published my first novel in Mexico, won a literary prize, didn't make enough money to sustain myself. But I went, had a book presentation, and I'm going through that trajectory, and you've seen that all the way to Selena. And the thing that really clicked for me is you're not wrong about technology, right? We have waves of technology throughout human history. At some point, when digital video, digital cameras came, you know, we had an upheaval. Sound and movies, we had an upheaval. You know, all of these technologies. I mean, I don't want to be Kodak, right? So I don't want to be replaced that. So, and I also don't want to take on storytelling, filmmaking from a place of fear. Because I think if we don't open our eyes and just get educated, because we talked about ignorance and education, and figure out what is this technology, because it's not going away. It is disrupting every industry. The good news is, as artists, as filmmakers, we traffic in emotion. And in order to recreate emotion, you still need human contribution. Even if the other side is an AI that has a potential of, you know, reading all the scripts in the world at once, they still don't have a consciousness in order to really identify emotion. So you need human to human. So that's the good news. The bad news is all the processes to get to that space are getting sped up. And the powers that be, like the big studios and the tech companies, and was really illuminating when Selena was a global hit. We premiered #1. 3 other shows had never premiered at #1. Selena did. 25 million households watched just the first 4 weeks. I just checked how many people watched it the last 6 months, 12.6 million hours.
They still watch.
They still watch it after 4 years of being premiered. I got my residual check. No.
Are you serious?
That little sense.
It's like Spotify
Wait,
prices.
you're a writer from the union.
Yeah, of course, of WGA,
Okay.
all the bells and whistles. It's like Spotify prices, right? It's really Spotify type of payment. I think I got 12,000.
0.25 cents.
For 12 million hours, I got $12,000. So it was oh crap, we went on strike for this. So then that means that whatever we fought for is no longer going to actually replenish what was lost. And mind you, the strikes did not cause a contraction and everything else. A lot of things are in place. They were just bloated budgets. You need to reduce costs. It's a lot of things, right? The economy costs are rising everywhere. And the antiquated process of entertainment. Hollywood operates from a 100-year-old model. And you're knowing this as an independent film producer. There's we have to get really savvy about how we put our stories out there. But the bottom line is there are 4 capitals of the US that manage everything. DC in politics, and we know how that's going. New York, the financing district, the wealth management, San Francisco tech and data, and then Hollywood storytelling. So my goal, after I seen the Selena was a global hit, I mean, what happens when you have a global hit? You already achieved something dramatic, and you're still trying to convince people to give you nickels to make the next thing. And don't get me wrong, I sold a couple of shows, I still do well, things are great. But there's no more stories coming from my camp. I mean, and this is really heartbreaking to be paid and then put the script away in a drawer or in a vault.
Okay, but how Artissn revolution?
Well, it's embracing the technology that is coming. right? Not at the unethical way, because what it does scrape a lot of stuff. So we're creating models and workflows where whatever data you put in, you draw from there and you take out. So one of the things that we're focusing, for example, are filmmaking, real filmmaking practical needs, like VFX stuff that takes forever. You know, you still need a VFX human being to dictate what to choose. But, you know, hours of rendering, animation, hours of rendering and modeling, that takes forever. Yeah. Animation takes like 2 years to make. But with all these data computational things, like if you use, like that's the thing, like the Studio Ghibli thing that OpenAI did, like with everyone, that's a sin. That's horrifying. But it's also exciting because...
It's gonna make things easier.
No. Because it's so gimmicky. And it's awful. And that's why I put that parody. That's so awful and gimmicky. Because we're trying to, like, for real filmmaking stories, one of the things that is the biggest issue with filmmakers that want to have a story is money. It costs $3 million, $1 million, and so forth. So what is ethical ways to use AI, control the data that comes in, control the data that goes out, with people's permission, with like contracts with actors, with contracts with directors, because you do need human contribution in every step of the way. Otherwise, the U.S. Copyright Office is going to say this is not copyrightable. If it is not copyrightable, it's not a work of art, there's no authorship, there's no monetization. So you do need human contribution along the way. Unless somebody changes the universal U.S. copyright laws,
Which, don't say out loud.
they're already saying it out loud. But that's one of the things that is, I think, it's like positive news is most of all, like the world actually agrees on U.S. on copyright. Actually, just the variations of the law changing. But it's one of the things that everyone agrees on, authorship. Now, I just, from a point of filmmaker, I just want to embrace the technology that ultimately is going to help me put those stories that are piling up on the screen. Not even now anymore for global hit greatness, because we experienced that already. But just to offer more faces and not wait for the Disneys of the world to just throw us a bone, or the, you know, Spider-Mans of the world to throw us another character. It's like, I think we're in a stage and a place where if we're not afraid of this technology and we use it in an ethical manner, we actually can get away with putting our stories on the screen.
Totally. And it can be used in so many different ways. I mean, we just saw Tom Cruise, right? With the Top Gun, with the voice, for instance. They brought Val Kilmer. I mean, rest in peace, but he couldn't talk, and they used technology, artificial intelligence, to bring his voice back from different scenes, so he can talk in the movie. And I'm sure they got his voice on with his permission. He got paid, and every time they keep playing it, the fans is going to get a residual. Juanma, tell us what is your opinion about artificial intelligence in the voiceover?
I think the artificial intelligence right now is a tool, and the people need to understand how it works, because it doesn't work what the people think works. You know, you can talk with ChatGPT and tell, okay, give me a story about the two guys in a car, and write the 15 pages of the script. It doesn't work like that. You can use it for maybe make corrections or make sense for a few words you write, or if you have a problem or you don't know, write an email. I use it a lot, ChatGPT, because I have problems with the English, and I need to understand and send an emails, and sometimes I don't understand when the emails, and I don't use the translator. Google Translator, it doesn't work. It's word by word, and don't understand the general idea. And if you talk a little bit to ChatGPT about the email, and use you send it, you can receive a more accurate translation, and he give you a few different responses. In the voice acting, I think it's a big trouble because the dubbing
It's not a big trouble, it's huge.
Yes, it's huge, and it's here, it's now. It's
We're still on.
yes, it's not about the future.
Right.
It's right now. This is why I start with the documentary. When I started with the idea of documentary, I took it with my friend Victor, and we are taking a few beers, and he said me, the robots take off our jobs, and I don't have more job. Tengo miedo, me roban el trabajo, me voy a morir. This is Victor. He speaks like this. And he have a really fear, and I say, no, it doesn't work like this. It's ChatGPT, it's the thing that I used to write an email.
Yeah.
And then I start talking people here, and I noticed that the fear is real. A lot of people have a lot of fear of this thing. It's like Skynet, in Terminator. And I say, it's not a Skynet, it's ChatGPT, And okay, it's the problem is with a lot of apps or websites, because right now you don't need an app and pay app. You can use it, and for the documentary I use it a website, and in less than for 5 minutes I translate in 5 languages Christian's word interview. 5 languages with a lip sync, and I select a few scenes when this guy it's touching the face, and you can see the lip syncing in with the hand. It's really it's a really good job.
Accurate.
Yes, it's very accurate, but it's free, and I can do it in less than 5 minutes, and have a lot of options. If you pay, you have more.
That's the concern about the voiceover talent.
Yes.
I have a voiceover talent. I give you my voice to advertise this water or this book, and you pay me for 6 months or for 3 years, and then next thing I know, you're still using my voice with ChatGPT, and then you recreate it without telling me, and now you're still promoting this book.
Yes.
With my voice, and they didn't even know, and now I'm saying something else.
Yes.
With my sound. That's the part that we are very, very scared.
Yes. When I started to investigate to make the documentary, I find a lot of apps of these things, and it's a really a problem. In Latin America, we're used to watch the movies with dubbing. I think I never hear Simpsons in English. The voice of Homer Simpson, it's Humberto Vélez. And if you hear the dubbing and the real voice of the character, the jokes, it's changing, because you can translate.
Very country, yeah, right.
Yes, I don't think Homer say the maca la cachimba,
Definitely not.
and it's a good joke, but it don't have this translation. And in Latin America, we use all the life. I watch a lot of movies with dubbing, with Latin dubbing. It's a profession I really love. When Victor tell me this problem, I try to, in the first time I take a joke, but then I start investigating and I say, okay, this is a big deal. We need to work in this, and talk with my best friend in Argentina, Metro Warrior, and we start to write a script. And in the documentary, it's the Human Voice documentary. It's a 70 minutes documentary about the artificial intelligence and voiceover. Yes, we interview more than 41 actors in US and another 20 or 25 in Mexico too. We only work 2 people in the documentary. I see the credits for all your work, and I say, wow, you have a lot of people work with you, and we are only 2 guys, trying to fight with this.
But let's go back a little bit on how can we solve that.
Sorry, because we
Yeah, we really need to.
so we can give a chance to the audience to give a
Yeah, we have some questions.
8:20.
Sorry,
No, no, please.
we need to, what would be the proposal, because I think it's very close to what Moy was saying, the way to do it more ethical. Guillermo, Sara, and,
To do AI more ethical.
yeah.
I think what you're doing, Moisés is doing, monetizing on that. But I wanted to add before that is like AI, like you said, is here to stay, but also we're Latinos. And we have to embrace it, because if not, they're gonna do the AI in a different perspective that's not ours, and we're gonna have another problem. So the more of us that take power from that, like even as a producer, making movies is very expensive. If you have when you're producing something or developing something, they're gonna ask you for a deck, do a graphic novel, do all this, you're paying for all of that. If you have an artist that has that at their fingertips and they can actually create amazing work, responsible work to help them succeed, I don't see the problem in that. I just think that laws have to come in and say, and give us, for like voiceover, there has to be laws.
Yeah.
Like we did with everything. We've been scared of all of it. Like the internet, when the first internet came out, any invention that we have as society, or always imagine the first time that you didn't have a rotary phone and you had to go like this, or like, I see a video. You're always scared of technology.
We fear what we
But
don't know.
correct, but like the laws have to come in, and it always happens. It just goes crazy, and then horrible things have to happen, and the law starts to come out, because you cannot use my face as an actor forever. Like that's insane. We should get money from that. Or like when you see Leonardo DiCaprio all the time on the internet that somebody makes it, like they're using his image for free. So laws have to come in, just to help ourselves. But we have to also embrace it, because if not, you're gonna stay behind as a Latino yet again. So I just wanted to add that.
And just like Ben Lopez said, I mean, if we don't do it, somebody else is
will.
going to do it. For
Correct.
us, it is going to be the bad way.
Correct.
I mean, I think for us, my as a company, in embracing this technology, don't get it twisted. They're already using it.
Yeah,
They've been using it for a long
It's already
time.
there.
Everybody.
It's already there.
Since before it came out.
And there is a fear, like there are certain jobs will get replaced because it's just not financially. That is true, but it's also an exciting time because even though the industry is changing, like the industrial revolution, it's like we got it's as cave people we got fire. And it's destructive, but it also can help you cook your food so you don't get sick and die. I think that we have to treat it like that. And I encourage anybody that is in this business to start looking into possibilities of how to learn about it. Because and I'll give you an example, not to freak people out, but dubbing. They're not concerned about dubbing. AI is going to get to a point where they're not going to just replace the voice because the lip sync is terrible.
Yeah.
They're going to replace the whole actor instantly.
Yeah.
So we're developing that technology.
Yeah.
Like you have the same background, and instead of a lip sync with a dubbing that doesn't really match the words, we're just substituting the entire actor and the entire performance and culturally making it relevant. Now, to your point, who's going to be substituted in and out?
Correct.
Right? So it's like the actors that lend their images in a contractual way with likeness and residuals, and they use it because those are the people that are going to be seen in all of these productions.
Yeah, and unfortunately, some actors who are not in the union are going to take those jobs, the jobs that the union actors don't want to take because of the contract and the protections. There's always someone who's going to do. Sara, do you have any comments, Guillermo?
The ethical part obviously is important to think about copyright, but I think it's also important to learn about the technology holistically and the impact it has as far as natural resources and also pollution. The big data centers use a lot of water, and we don't know the impact it will have because it's so new, but we do know that the areas where they've built these data centers have depleted the resources for the people that are nearby. because the infrastructure is just not made for that volume. So like people literally in their homes have to have buckets of water because they don't have water coming out of their kitchens. So I just think it's one of those things where it's like, yes, we can't fight it, it's here. But you have to see the whole picture when you think about it ethically, and you have to make your own, decisions of what that means to you, and from all the perspectives, the job perspective and also our planet.
Yeah.
I think the two main problems with AI, if you are not careful, one is going to be precisely diversity, because open AI, open sources AI, not the company, grab all the information that is available. So what's the most information that is available? It's more all those stereotypes that we talk about the documentary. So if you do like film just with AI, you are going to just have stories about about, you say like make a story about a Latino, blah blah blah. It will be a story about like a drug dealer that is violent, and it will just perpetuate those stereotypes that exist, that they are on the internet. And there are many tests that they have done that if you ask the AI to keep doing that, they are going to be biased, because most of the shit of the internet is bullshit, right? So that's something that we have to be very, very careful. And also it's going to take usually a lot of the opportunities that there are very few right now. So like the marginalized communities are the ones that are going to get more affected with the loss of jobs and all that process. The other main problem with AI is creativity. And I'm not saying the AI cannot be creative. They have great feedback and that, but the process that we make films is a collaboration. I don't believe in the auteur theory, like even like the ones that they proclaim they do everything that's bullshit. It's like a team effort, and it's like a collaboration where each crew member apports to the project. And if you just decide to do AI, it's going to be very flat, and you're not going to discover anything new. Going back to the dubbing as an example, yes, AI can do the job very all right, very well. It will do the job. But if I prefer to watch, for example, Shrek.
With
Spanish, because Derbez was a genius, a freaking donkey, and it brings something new to the movie that the English version doesn't have. So yes, probably the movie could work with AI dub, but it's going to lose this kind of
humanity and authenticity.
Or something new that you are not going to be able to discover because you are not collaborating. But on the other hand, it's going to democratize things. And if you use like more or less I think your company does, it's like more close code AI, where you put the info and does more the mechanical job that it's very expensive. And I cannot do like a Marvel movie with $100 million budget with 20 explosions, painted, whatever.
Welcome, AI.
So that can AI help independent filmmakers to do like big budget productions without having Disney movie. But at the end of the day, that's also going to change because there's going to be an overflow of products to the market that it's going to be impossible to watch everything. So the ones that are going to outstand is the ones that are very creative and the ones that have more money. So the studios will, instead of spending 100 million on effects, they're going to spend that on marketing to make their films stand more than the other ones.
Thank you so much. I think instead of going through questions, why don't you, I'm going to phrase this guys, and you guys come and talk to them instead so we can finish faster, because we kind of like extended a little bit longer than this. But I want to thank you, all of you, for being here. If you guys want to follow them, they're all tagged in the CCCM post and in Actors Slash. Thank you so much to our Consul Aida Velasco again for opening your doors. Thank you, Guillermo, Sara, Moy, Juan, Lynette, Bella, and Lucia y Aitza. Muchísimas gracias, everybody, for being here. Just like my very dear friend Ben Lopez says, take a look at who's sitting next to you and exchange information. And you guys, I will, if you allow me, I will share your email with one another, because the idea is, not with the public.
Just follow me on Instagram.
And, but I mean, get to know who's sitting next to you, because you never know who you are going to be collaborating next. So thanks again, everybody. A big, big round of applause for all of you. And let's take here for a picture, if you don't mind, and then you guys come and talk to them.